Yo, what's good, YouTube? So I got my Finalmouse ULX Phantom Cheetah in the mail earlier this week, and I've put some hours into it. I wanted to post a review and some of my thoughts about the mouse. So before I get started, a couple things I want to get out of the way. This is my first Finalmouse. I haven't had any other of their products, so my first experience with the company, and this isn't my first mouse that I've got. I have plenty of other mice, but this is the first review that I'm posting. So yeah, if there's any feedback you have for me about how I handled it, feel free to leave it in the comments below. So to get into it, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is the things that I like about the mouse. And the first thing that I really like about it is the weight. The weight is the main selling point of the mouse, I would say. They advertise it on the product page as weighing less than a strawberry on a scale, which is kind of nuts. And it's really just crazy to me how light this mouse actually is. It feels like you have nothing in your hand, your hand is really what you're aiming with, compared to something like a heavier mouse where you can definitely feel the kind of resistance from the mouse, especially on a cloth pad. If you're using a glass pad, you might feel it less, but cloth, glass, this feels amazing in my hand. I really like it. I haven't had any issues with my grip. So to go into the next point that I wanted to talk about is gripping the mouse. So if you are a fingertip gripper or a palm grip and you have relatively small hands like me, this is a really great shape and size. I haven't had any issues when it comes to tracking or flicking, any type of kind of that mouse control stuff. No issues with my hand or fingers coming off the wrong contact points that I prefer. So it's been great in that regard. Obviously, shape and height are very subjective, but for me, the height and the length for my hand size, which I don't have my actual measurements, I'm sorry for that, I'll try and get that, maybe I'll put it on the screen, but I haven't had any issues. And if you have small hands like me, this size is great. If you have bigger hands, maybe you want to try one of the bigger sizes, which is nice because they do offer multiple sizes. Obviously, this is the small, there's the medium and the large. So fingertip, palm are great. Claw is very awkward. I do not like how clawing feels on this mouse. I don't really play claw ever, and it's always felt awkward, but it feels extremely awkward on the ULX Mini, or not the Mini, sorry, the small. But it is possible, but for me, it just feels awkward, and I have very small hands, as I mentioned, and it just feels like the mouse is too small for claw grip. So I really wouldn't recommend that if you're a claw gripper. If you are, maybe I would try one of the bigger sizes. But if you have very large hands, I feel like you might even have issues with the large. I obviously can't confirm that because I only have this one, but it's something to consider. The shell integrity is also very good. I haven't had any issues with it. I have noticed on earlier models and batches that there was a lot of issues with the side shell extruding from the rest of the shell and not being properly connected and housed correctly. I don't have any issues with that. There's no real side flex. There is quite a bit of, well, not quite a bit, but there is flex on the back still, which is not as extreme as some of the earlier batches that I had seen on Twitter, which was very concerning. But me playing fingertip, I don't even really have any contact with that point of the mouse, so it's not really something that I am super concerned about. The sensor is also really good. I haven't had any issues with it. I'm currently using it at 4K. I believe 8K isn't out yet. I could be wrong about that, but I'll probably give that a try. But for now, 4K feels great. So the encoder feels good. I haven't had any issues with it. It's not as tactile as I typically like, but that's okay. I'm not a big fan of the scroll wheel at all. I find that the metal coating or texture, my finger slips a lot with it when I'm just scrolling or jumping in CS. which is kind of annoying that you're not getting that kind of precise input. And that might just be because I typically use my scroll wheel very lightly, so that might just be a me issue, but it's something that I notice and I don't like about the scroll wheel as it is, compared to something with a rubberized texture. To move into things that I don't like about the mouse now, there's quite a few. The first is the coating. So when I first got the mouse, I did a Kovac session with it, and after about 15 minutes or so, I had noticed that the grip felt very, very greasy and that kind of tacky feeling already, which I hate in mice. I've had lots of issues with that on my Superlight and Pulsar mice, so I pretty much put grips on every other mouse, but those issues haven't really come to light until after putting quite a bit of time on the mouse. This, I felt it almost immediately. So I put some Pulsar Super Grips on this, and I really don't think that I can use this mouse without grips on it. The grips that they include feel very bad in my opinion. I do not like them at all. So if you do get it, I would recommend throwing some grips on it with whichever you like. Maybe you like the ones that come in the box. I don't, but again, that's subjective. To go on to the next point, which I hate most about this mouse, is the clicks. The clicks feel terrible. They are extremely wobbly. There's a lot of wobble. So this wobble also introduces a very grindy feeling. And let me refocus my camera there. This grindy feeling is both very audible and also there's a lot of feedback that I feel in the clicks. And I find that it messes me up a lot when I'm flicking or when I'm tracking. I'll be flicking to the left or right, and my position of my finger moves on the mouse, and I feel the grindiness transfer with the momentum of the mouse, and it just throws me off, and I don't know why. And the fact that this is an issue in this mouse is pretty absurd. Continuing on with the clicks, on Fresh Reviews Twitter, before I got this mouse, I saw a clip of him being able to shift the side buttons without almost no force, and I can also do that on my model, which is very strange. You can shift the actual button itself around in the housing, which is just not something that you want, and I honestly have no idea what could be the cause of this, but it might be something that's able to be fixed, but it looks like it was just something that was missed in QC. I don't know if it was just a few models, but it seems like there are quite a few that also have this issue. So to wrap things off, I wanted to talk about the QC of the mouse and whether I recommend it or not. So the QC, as I've mentioned, is very frustrating and disappointing. There's been 3 batches of this mouse thus far, and it seems like every batch has had new issues. The clicks have been an issue since the first batch, and that's very frustrating to find that that's still apparent in this batch after feedback has been given to them. It's really not something that you expect at this price tag, but then again, you're paying for the brand name, you're paying for Finalmouse, so whether or not that price tag is worth it, I'll leave it up to you. But if I would personally recommend this mouse, honestly, I would have to say maybe. And the maybe is dependent on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something very light and something that feels great in your hand, and maybe you're someone who's comfortable with opening up the shell and doing a little bit of tweaking, which I'm pretty sure Finalmouse, if you do that, you void your warranty. So fair disclosure about that. If you do that, you will likely void your warranty. But if you're someone like that and you like light mice and you're a peripheral collector, then yeah, I would recommend giving it a shot. and who knows, maybe in future revisions they will continue to improve on these issues, because this is going to be a mouse that is in continuous production. So hopefully in the future things will continue to improve. If you're looking for one mouse, a main, you don't want to touch it, you want it to be good to go out of the box, honestly, I would maybe look at other options. I feel like there's better things that you can get out of the box than this, and it seems like it's been a bit of a coin flip whether or not you get a good mouse or not. So if that's something that you're okay with risking, then go for it. Otherwise, I would maybe look around. I've been kind of yapping too much, I feel, so I'm going to end the video there. If you guys have any feedback from me, I'd really appreciate it. I want to keep making content like this. So yeah, leave a like and a comment, drop a sub if you want to see more, leave a dislike, tell me I'm stupid if you didn't like the video, and yeah, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.